course, language, very literally, is, of course, just what we're speaking, etc. But language with a capital L, the way linguists and cognitive scientists tend to use it, and also many anthropologists, is as a whole kind of cognitive system. And the fact that it's a very expansive, just kind of, actually it's rather akin to the way most people use communication in general. Yes. I would say that, the way many people currently in these fields in academia use the word language. So that would absolutely, include all the signed languages, which are super rich and equally sort of complex, as they're just as complex as spoken languages, and the rich sort of gesture inventories that individual speakers and also whole cultures have, right?
Yes, that's also
intonation,
important.
Everything.
That is also important. In fact, a trip that I took recently, which you were also on, into Wow Tadero territory, brought this all home so clearly when we were interviewing speakers who are unused to working with anyone thinking about language with a capital L.
Yes.
So we spoke with one man, and we would try to elicit ideophones from him. Okay, so how does a howler monkey sound? Well, we got depictions that were so specific and so contextually rooted in, the exact gestures that a howler monkey would use, the exact cries, the emotions. It was really difficult for me to even fathom writing down what he was uttering.
Absolutely.
Right?
The traditional pen and paper field linguist, let me get my notebook out. It's very hard to capture that, indeed.
Now, if we had asked him to tell a narrative, I'm sure he would have given us more conventionalized idiophonic depictions. But just eliciting ideophones themselves was such a challenge, and it was such a sober reminder of how much our fieldwork methods can sometimes determine what we find out.
Certainly, and certainly interesting, as you point out, that there's this kind of meta-analysis that some speakers have and other speakers don't seem to have.
They don't.
About, okay, this is my language, this is what someone wants to hear when I'm asked a question about my language.
Exactly.
They just went for it, so to speak. They're like, all right, you want a howler monkey? Here's a howler monkey. And it was almost identical to that same person, actually, later when we were on a hike, actually, up a sort of a very muddy hillside, just up the land from the river, just walking upland a bit. We were trying to find howler monkeys. To my great disappointment, we didn't find any. We were trying to find howler monkeys, and we were at a salt lick where they gathered.
Right.
And he was bellowing. The speaker was bellowing in the way, howling, I guess, in the way howler monkeys howl in these deep, deep tones, in an attempt to attract them. And this was actually what had also been elicited that morning when you were asking about the way howler monkeys perform, as it were. As this gets back to this performative aspect.
Exactly.
It was like putting on a scene for us.
Right. It was incredibly vivid, and trying to write it down with pen and paper or keyboard and computer would be such a disappointment.
Yeah, only a video would suffice.
Only a video.
Hence the need for the audiovisual corpus.
Right.
Well, we should get one started for WOW as well.
We really should.
We should say WOW. It sounds like wow in English, but it's WOW Tadero is currently classified as a language isolate, and it's so it's not related to any other language allegedly, and it is spoken only in the Ecuadorian Amazon, I guess a little bit in Peru by some migrants, I've heard.
Okay.
But officially, I think, only in Ecuador.
Officially only in Ecuador.
Yeah.
Right. About 3,000 speakers are said to speak it right now. It's exciting.
Fascinating. Would that, just to pose a hypothetical, would that be another future avenue for your research before your illustrious career comes to an end someday?
I would not rule it out, because I felt such a feeling of excitement when I was with these people in an area where civilization barely exists and their ways of lives are so closely grounded to the earth and nature, and reading the micro signals in their environment all around them. You could almost say that the rainforest is their library, and the curriculum is their land.
Absolutely.
The land, the birds, the flowers, the trees. They're brilliant people, and brilliant at reading and interpreting their environment. And I had that same sense of excitement when I did my dissertation research in this really remote area that I had to charter airplanes to get to. So this was a a wonderful trip, and I actually have a commitment to go back there next summer. So
absolutely.